get the camera in the holster, and we're going to talk about Long McQuade's inability to fix my mixing board. And we're going to talk about the young technician. I don't really know where he works, but somewhere in Montreal that was unable to do so. Some young guy pretending he's a technician up in Montreal. And we're just going to start this up so that we can see the comments. The comments will come in a second. Just turn this one off. And we're ready to go. So, I don't have anybody viewing just yet, but we might as well just start off. This is my Tascam Model 24. And we are on day 36 of Long McQuade unable to honor the warranty. And we've got here, repaired May 22nd, 25. I don't even know what today actually is, 23rd. I guess this is, they just spit the receipt out the day you pick it up, I guess. Ericsson, I think that's the name of the company. Technician, Manuel Peludo. So I've looked him up. He's in Montreal. I've got pictures of him and stuff. Why do you need that? Well, it just proves to me that it's just a young man pretending to be a technician. You know, he's got a couple years under his belt futzing around with PA systems, you know. Not an engineer. I don't know what makes him Tascam certified, or if TIAC and Tascam know that this young guy is pretending to know how to fix these boards. He says, unit fully tested for several days with product specialist. Who's the product specialist? Not this kid. Not this kid. Clearly, he didn't fix it. Product specialist? You didn't even diagnose. You couldn't even find the problem. No issues detected. Well, then you're not a product specialist. And then it's all this nonsense of $35 minus $35, zero. Like, what is all that nonsense, right? This repair is now closed. Thank you for shopping at Long McQuade. Visit us online. GST number, blah, blah, blah. So this is just a photocopy. I've got several copies of this because I'm going to need them over the next little bit, depending on what I do next. 36 days. Tomorrow will be 37 days in. So I sent it because the aux knobs were not working. Auxes 1 and 2. Sent it. Now they're like, well, we can't find the problem. Lo and behold, magically the thing comes back and auxes 1 and 2 work fine. Now aux 3 doesn't work. Watch this when I just so slightly, I'm just going to come back so you can see there's no trickery. Watch what happens when I just, right? I just ever so slightly. So thanks, Manuel. You've turned my board into a synthesizer. It's good job, pal. I can demonstrate maybe the reverb, the engine working. So I have a mic plugged into channel 1. So let's see. We'll turn this down. What am I going to do here? I'm going to turn the effects back on. I don't know how good the camera can see or not see. We'll just do one of these. Let's see here. So we'll go to the effects. You select, turn it on. Now I've got small hall reverb on. And I'm going to lift my fader for channel 1. I can take this down. Now it looks like we've got some aux action there, which is strange. Okay, and then I'm going to go into... Hello. Where's my reverb, though? I should be getting reverb right now. Hello. I'm going to unplug this. I'm scared to do anything at this point because this thing screams and fritzes and... Hey, Joe Ungle Gamer. How's it going? Check. All right, I should be getting reverb in spades at this point. And I'm not, so let's select. Let's get me a large hall. Make sure it's on. Check. Okay. Let me undo this. Check. Still no onboard reverb. Why? I should have effects at this point. Oh, because it's on mute. That's on me. I'm sorry. Let me unmute this. Okay. Hello. Okay. The effects are working. Chilongo Gamer says, I'm fine. How are you? Not too good, my friend. This board was in repair at Long McQuade, which is a music chain that has the monopoly in Canada, unfortunately. Chokes the life out of the music market in Canada. They're like poison ivy up. They're just everywhere. This board was in for repair for 36 days. Every time I called, there was just confusion. They didn't know where it was or who I dropped it off to. Despite having a receipt, you know, their system's pretty good. They could never find my board. They're like, who are you? Who'd you drop it off to? 36 days. I drive up to go get it, and it's not fixed after them saying, we can't find the problem. Well, I'll show you the problem. It's easy to find the problem is the thing. Like a kid could find the problem. I say that as I forget to take the mute button off. Let's do this really quick, though. I'm going to... This doesn't just speak ill to Long and McQuade. This is also like, look at this Tascam trash can garbage. Tascam trash can garbage. Let's hook into here. Okay. Check. So that disables the effects unit. Check. My Love Recording, who's very well versed in these machines, way better than Manuel here. Manuel thinks he's the product specialist, but he can't find the problem. Mike said that it used to be when you plugged into that effects, just like I just did, you could freeze the machine. So now let's check. Now let's try this. Let's go into, I don't care, 10. We'll go into 10. Okay. Check. Now it looks like that's working. This is intermittent as hell. So I'm going to drop fader 1, and we should hear nothing. I'm going to bring this one up. Check. Nothing. I expect, you know, it's weird though, because I am getting some signal light. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Why am I not hearing that? I'm just waiting for it to blow up on my face. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, I'm going to bring the gain up some more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I'm waiting for it to blow up on my face, honestly. PFL's off, sub is off, main is on. Yeah, nothing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like what? It's getting gain. What is it gaining? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Nothing. Just nothing. What if I get, I'll bring this up. 1, 2. Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. I'm totally waiting for it to just start shrieking and screaming. Okay, so nothing. So let's now turn the effects off. I'm going to drop that so it doesn't blow up in my face. We'll go off. Yep. And we'll exit. Okay, now we will lift this fader. Nothing. Check. I don't know. Ooh. I mean, I can't crank. I guess I could crank this in some more. I know this must be like watching paint dry. Sorry, guys. And that is with what kind of cable? That's with a TS. So we can try with a TRS. That's no problem. I got all the cables here. We'll go to a TRS. We'll go from FX into 10. Check. Nothing. Let's go into 11 for funsies. So we'll go over to 11. Oh. Check. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope. Nothing outputting. Nope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope. So now let me show you just how easy this would have been for Long and McQuade to do their job, and for Manuel at Ericsson to do his job. How easy it would have been if he would have just did his job. So normally all you have to do, let's just use the microphone normal. So here's channel 1. No problem. Hello, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It's all panned out for some reason. Just fine. 1, 2, 3. Now, I'm going to crank that signal through. Oops, got another contest comments. At the chance of sounding obvious, all chance, have you tried resetting the unit to factory settings? Jungle Gamer, no, that's a good idea. I'm going to factory default it, and I'm going to refirmware it, even though it is at the latest firmware. That is a good idea. You shouldn't have to, but because it is, somewhat of an analog mixing board, but it's also somewhat of a digital mixing board. So it is a good idea to do that, and I'm going to. Hope you guys can see that. .630095, and it looks to me like that is the latest. Hey, C Dunn. Joe Gamer, if that was the case, it would not make that horrible sound. Well, you never know with these things, because Mike from I Love Recording, when he first got he's got an early version, he could simply plug a cable in and it would freeze the whole board. How crazy is that? That's not the characteristics of an analog board, just by doing this. The board would freeze. And it was actually fixed by firmware. And Mike from I Love Recording thinks that Tascam seen his video and did the firmware based on that. Who knows, right? Who knows? Okay, so let's go back to demonstrating how simple it is to use the auxes. If only Long McQuade could give a damn, and if only Manuel at Ericsson could have gave a damn how simple it is to use auxes. So, let me just adjust my... So I'm on channel 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No big deal. You pump that over to, say, aux 1. I'll give it a healthy amount there. And that brings it over to this fader here. I'm actually going to bring these ones down. And then I'm going to take, I'm going to drop this one. I'm going to take the signal coming out of aux 1, and I'm going to bring it into 10 for fun. 10. I don't need to crank the snot out of that. Now, I lift the fader on 10. Hello, I am getting, it sounds terrible, but I am now getting the aux send from 1. Aux 1 is going to here is going to that right here is going into here, and this is me talking, getting the aux 1 here, okay? Pretty simple. So now let's do, I sent it in because aux 1 and aux 2 weren't working at all, and now that I hear it, it sounds really bad. It sounds quite distorted, like unusable. They couldn't get it to, they couldn't figure that out. Now let's go into aux 3. So I'm going to shut the internal effects off, select, press off, I exit, and I'm just waiting for this thing to scream in my face, because it's done it a couple times to me already tonight. I go to the FX out, which is aux 3, and now I pump aux 3 in, 1, 2, 3, and I'm just waiting for this thing to start shrieking and screaming. Nope. Okay, nothing yet. Nope, nothing yet. Okay, I don't know why it's not screaming and shrieking. Good thing it's not screaming and shrieking. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, but I get nothing. Right? Like, it's just trash. It's just garbage. So, Technician Manuel Paludo. He's from Ericsson, Montreal, Canada. Unit fully tested for several days with product specialist. Unit working to spec. No issues detected. And then all this $35, minus $35, 0. I don't know where the $35 comes in. NFF, I don't know what that means. Warranty credit, did they take $35 off my warranty to do nothing? Doesn't make any sense to me. Here we go. I'm in Sweden, so I'll never know who that is. Yeah, well, Long McQuade is this, it's like our Guitar Center, but far worse, If you're in Sweden, you probably don't know Guitar Center or Sweetwater, or they've got a lot of great music chains down in the States. We just have Long and McQuade, and then we got a lot of great mom and pops, but you got to find them. The mom and pops are like hidden, like they're just in downtowns across Canada trying to compete with Long and McQuade, the big monster that has bad attitude and just doesn't care at all. Just, Anyway, I don't know. I just think the whole thing is just rotten. Just I have no faith in any of it at this point. Let's do aux 2 for fun though. So I'm gonna go ahead, peel my auxes down. We'll put aux 2 up a healthy amount. Oh, you do have a Guitar Center. Okay, so we do have a Guitar Center. I believe I've also seen a lot of Sweetwater videos. Love Zach's videos about new retro and new synths. Yeah, Sweetwater's fantastic, man. So in Canada, we can order from Sweetwater sort of semi-quasi secretly. They don't like, put it this way, my Sweetwater guy doesn't really like me to talk about it too much, right? Because there's the whole territorial, only this company can do Martin, and only this company can do Fender, and only this company can do Paul Reed Smith. Well, Sweetwater sort of busts that up. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, we've got 3 music stores around here. One of them does Martin, one of them does Paul Reed Smith, one of them does Gibson, and another one does Fender, and that's it. It's very territorial, which is not good for the consumer, right? To go, oh, if you want your Fender, you got to go see this guy, and if you want your Gibson, you got to go see this guy. It's like, it's not free market. That's like freaking gulag level, you know, Stalin freaking music store. You know, it's weird, right? Just let everybody buy anything from anywhere, for God's sakes, and let the market decide. Let people go to the store where they're treated best, right? Luckily, all my local stores are fantastic, right? But sometimes my local store would never, none of my local stores would have this. You got to go to Long McQuade for this. It's a high ticket item. C. Dunn says, my 5153 combo, the blue and green channel died. Some resistor or something is killing a tube. I had 3-year warranty still, but I was scared to send it in. Now I know why. Yeah, you get a feeling, man. You get a stigma. You're like, do I lug that amp in? What are they going to do? Is it going to come back worse? I argue this has come back worse. Okay? Because just now when I was playing through aux 1, I'm like, okay, it's working, but it sounds terrible. And now aux 3 doesn't work. So, all right, let's do aux 2. Oh, going back to the Long and McQuade thing. Yeah, they're just a terrible monopoly in Canada. And if Sweetwater or Guitar Center ever came up to Canada, Long and McQuade would be hurting really bad really quickly. Anyway, all right, let's go to aux 2. And this is up. Come over here. Better watch this. And you're going to hear aux 2. And there it is. This is my aux 2. It actually doesn't sound too bad. My aux 2 doesn't sound too bad. It sounds a lot better than aux 1. It is distorted, though. I don't know if you can hear that distortion. So it's not perfect. Now, let's quite simply go over to aux 3. Should be quite simple to go over to aux 3. And we're doing it, and nothing. But, so, I know it doesn't make logical digital sense, but I am going to do Joe Ongle Gamer's thing where they suggest a factory reset in firmware. I mean, what do I do at this point? I got to wait to call the freaking manager tomorrow at Long and McQuade. That's the next step. That'll be day 37. Today's day 36. Now, is there a factory reset here? Doesn't. Oh, there's initialize. Yeah, okay, here we go. Make sure I don't got a card in, which I don't. Okay, factory reset. Yes, please. All right. Oh, I guess that was it. Let's do it again. Initialize. Factory reset. Yes, please. Okay, exit. Home. Now let's reboot. And people are going to get sick of watching me bitch about my Tascam Model 24 Long and McQuade Center. You know what I mean? This has become the Tascam 24 freaking complaint channel. So I got to make sure I balance my content. But this is still fresh for me. Even though it's day 36. It's still a fresh issue. All right, so let's see. We're just booting up. So we booted up. Okay, so I've done the factory init initialization. I still got no aux 3, obviously. Let's go back to aux 2. Hello, aux 2. You are very noisy. Aux 2. What can we do about that? Aux 2, you are very noisy. Aux 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You are not so noisy now. That's not too bad. That's almost usable there. 1, 2, 3. Let's go to aux 1. And here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's kind of hot, but it kind of sounds okay. So aux 1 and 2 are kind of behaving themselves at this moment. Joe Ongle Gamer. Says that thing is more digital than my Tascam TP32. In some regards, yeah, it's as digital. And I wanted to get Model 12. I don't need the 24, but you kind of showed me I might have dodged a bullet there. Well, hey, Joango Gamer, I can only tell you from my point of view what I've seen, and I've owned a lot of these. People go, why do you own so many? Well, because I change my mind a lot, guys. I know it's kind of crazy, but I'm in the box, I'm out of the box. Look, I've got an Apollo here, right? So I go back in the box. I got a Focusrite over here, like a 2i2 4th gen. I got a laptop, a PC laptop around here somewhere, which is here. So sometimes I don't even use my Mac. I use a Lenovo. My point is I change my mind all the time, and yeah, that is my downfall. It's not a good thing. I'm in the box. I'm out of the box. I like trackers. I come from the 4-track world of the 1990s, okay? So I like leaning over a tracker and having a beer with my buddies and just leaning over a tracker. But then I get back in the box, and I also have a Zoom Live-L Track 20. It's at a friend's house. Works perfectly. I've never had a Zoom problem. I also have a Scarlett 18i20 Focusrite. I have had one problem with them. I sent it back. Focusrite made good on it immediately, but I have one at another band's house. I lend my stuff to bands because I guess I'm the only guy that can buy interfaces around here, because if I don't buy the interfaces, these other bands won't do anything. So it's more worth it to me to see these bands make albums than the money out of my pocket, I guess. But I changed my mind, and I don't even know how I got down this rabbit hole. You'd asked something. Oh, and I wanted to get a Model 12. I don't need a 24, but you kind of showed me I might have dodged a bullet there. All I can tell you, Joangle Gamer, is my reference point, my experience with it. And when I count the Tascam Model 24s that I know about, and that Mike at I Love Recording has had 2 issues with his, or 3 issues if you want to count them. When you count them all and you count issues, it's a 44% failure rate. And guys will argue with me. They're like, well, you can't count mics. And it's like, well, I kind of can because I know about it. Now, if somebody wants to chime in and say, well, I've got one and it works, then I should count that toward the number. But then 3 other people will go, well, I've got Model 12 and it don't work. I got a Model 16 and it's dead. You really want me to start counting? More people are going to come forward with problems than not. Not a lot of people are going to take time out of their day to go, hey, I just want to let you know that I've got a model and it works. A few have, but most people complain about problems, not about the good times they're having, right? Let's see. C. Dunn says, in fact, I would inform Tascam about this. Yes, Tascam in the great, they don't know about this, because they didn't send it to, Long McQuade didn't send it to Tascam. They sent it to this kid at Ericsson, okay? I've looked up young Manuel Peludo. He looks, I'm just going to be honest, he looks 21, but who knows? Every picture is a picture of the past, right? Like, he looks super young. His LinkedIn looks like he has, like, dick all for experience. Looks like he's futzed around for some PAs in Montreal for a year or 2, right? And they call him the product specialist. I doubt it. Like, this kid was entering high school when this model thing came out, I'm pretty sure. Just, maybe I'm being ignorant, but that's what it looks like to me. Richard Clark joins us. Hey, Richard, thanks for joining us. Yeah, I cut my first demo on cassette with 4 tracks. Yeah, me too, man. I come from the 4-track days. I don't know if I still have them around here to try to find them, but I'll try to pull my tapes out. It's a real mess in here. My tapes are around here somewhere. Yeah, let's see if I can. Let me just back this up a little bit. Sorry, guys. Motherboards and whatnot. Yeah, hey Richard, check this out, man. All my old 4-track tapes from the Fostech X26 days. This is the good days, man. This is the 90s, we did a lot of recording. You can see I had to split. What you see, 1, 2, 3, 4 across the top, the counter. Well, you know what that is, my man. You know what that is. right? You can see we did a lot of 4-track stuff. Hey, Richard, does your 4-track, I'm just curious, do you have a working one? And if so, is it one that can play your tapes? Because the Fostech was a funny speed, so I have a heck of a time. This is 4-track collection. I have a heck of a time finding something that can play my tapes. Got my reel-to-reels around here somewhere too. Somewheres. I don't know if I can find it or not. Probably not easily. But I'll get back to the screen and see what the comments are. Thanks for joining me tonight, guys. I'm sure you got better things to do on a Friday night to hear me complain about Long and McQuade in my Tascam, but I appreciate that you're here. Let's see. Richard says, yeah, I cut my first demo on cassette with 4-track. C-Dun says, sorry, I'm still watching your video late. Yeah, that's no problem. It's quite a saga, man. It's quite a... I'm getting tired of hearing myself complain about it, but I'm in the thick of it right now. Day 36. C-Dun says, now I'm freaked out about the studio bridge since it's the same thing in a way. Yeah. I mean, hopefully they've had hindsight. Hopefully they've had 5 years hindsight to improve the quality of the studio bridge. If you know Warhard Arts, Numb Thumb, go subscribe to his channel. He has the studio bridge. He is now in the process of getting all his D-subs, because that studio bridge is all D-sub back there, right? You got to have all the D-subs. It's a bridge, but there's no cabling. You got to get all the cabling yourself. Hey, C-Dun, do you have a studio bridge? Let me know. Richard Clark. Oh, Joe Ungle says, the Tascam DP32 SD works brilliantly and has almost zero complaints. There's one big downside. It's terribly unintuitive. There's a steep learning curve and doesn't have a sound card. Yeah, you're right, man. You nailed that. I've owned the DP24. I've owned the DP32. I've owned the coveted one with the CD player in it. And I've owned the one with the SD. So I've owned about 3 of them. You wouldn't believe I walked into a pawn shop one time, bought a Tascam DP. And I bought it, sort of risky. Pawn shop, you know. Worked perfectly, man. Perfectly. Richard says, I still have all my tapes and a copy of that first demo. Man, it's funny. That's awesome, dude. And maybe he answers it later. Oh, Richard does answer later. He says he doesn't have his 4-track anymore. There has got to be a way to get in the medium where you can get fixed speed issues. Yeah, I could speed or slow up with Reaper. I just haven't tried it. The Fostechs, I think they ran fast or slow. I mean, one or the other. They didn't run normal. Like, you couldn't take your Fostech tape out and put it in a Tascam Porta Studio 1. The speed was different. C-Dun says, mine too. Oh, no, I'm all ears. Joe Ungle says, no, I love that you're live. I'm on vacation anyway. Oh, that's cool, man. You may be sitting in a hotel somewhere having a Corona. C-Dun says, yes, I do. Oh, yes, you do have the studio bridge. Oh, man. And sorry, I haven't checked out your videos. Are you making videos on that bad boy? Because that would be great. And you could come live with us and talk about it. I mean, we would love to have you come talk about that. We're totally into it. I don't want to be the Tascam hate guy, man. We weren't supposed to arrive here, but obviously I changed my mind too many times. I bought and sold and bought and sold and bought and sold, and I've arrived at a lemon. And I'm holding the hot potato, and I'm saying to Long McQuade, like, I don't want to hold the hot potato. I have warranty, right? Like, so we're on day 36, and the next thing is for them to, don't send this to some 20-year-old kid in Montreal. No offense to 20-year-old kids, but I remember when I was 20 years old fixing computers, and I was pretty good at it, to be honest, but there was better technicians. There's still better technicians, but, you know, the product specialist, the kid hasn't shaved his face yet. C-Dun says, but I see buttons effing up with lots of people. On the DP24, you know, I got to tell you, this is just my experience. The Tascam Porta Studios DP24 and 32, I have never heard anyone complain. I own 3 and they were perfect. Mike from I Love Recording owns what he owns. He doesn't complain about them. He loves them. Warhart Arts loves them so much that he just sold one last week and bought another one this week. I swear to God, he sold one last week and bought another one this week. He's already missing it. He's already got buyer's remorse. I'm sorry that he's going through that. But, all right, we got 6 people, and we are talking to you through the on-repaired, on-warranted, Long McQuade Tascam Model 24. You are listening to me through aux 1. Sounds pretty good at this moment, doesn't it? Doesn't sound too bad. Let's go to aux 2. Aux 2. C. Dunn says, well, Mike says he had to use fader spray. Yes, that is true. That is true. He's also fader sprayed his Model 24. And I thought that the life cycle was too early for him to be needing to fader spray or what do you call that? Detox. You guys know the name of that stuff. It's great stuff. Something. You guys know the name of that stuff. I thought the Model 24 is too young to be fader spraying it. But yes, he fader sprayed that too. Mike seems to like to fader spray things, and it seems to get him results. I got to admit, I've fader spray stuff too. It is a weird elixir of life for electronics. Deoxit. Thank you, Richard. Deoxit. That stuff is a weird honey and cinnamon for electronics. Very strange. The other thing it'll do too is like if you've got like masking tape or like a sticky, I had some sticky weird goo on a drum machine. I sprayed a little of that on and it came off my thumb. It's a weird stuff, man. If you told me Deoxit was from the planet, Zaphoid, and aliens brought it here, I would believe you because it's so weird. Richard Clark says, I feel for you. It just took Engel and ESP over a month to figure out how to get my Morse to a dealer for Germany for warranty. That sucks. That sucks, man. Yeah. You hate to hear it, We all pay enough for this stuff. All right, so you're listening to me through aux 2. Aux 2 sounds pretty good. Now let's go to aux 3. Hey, if I don't know what I'm doing, how did I get this to work, huh? If I don't know what I'm doing, how did I get this to work? C. Dunn says, I used it in my PV5150 knobs and it worked great. But yeah, using spray that early is a scary sign. For sure, man. You shouldn't be deoxiting a Model 24 5 years in. We used to deoxit bingo machines. I don't know if you guys know anything about gambling bingo, but there's bingo machines and the ball comes up the chute and they spin the ball. We had to like de-static them. We had to put the static tinsel in there. And we used to deoxit the hell out of the machines. But those machines were 15 years old and full of nicotine. Like the smoking, the tobacco was so thick. You could, like the machines stunk. That's how much secondhand smoke was on them. That deoxit though, it'd blow the nicotine right off it. Crazy. All right, let's go to aux 3. This is currently our problem aux. Aux 3, I got nothing. Now, I had this thing feeding back like crazy earlier. I don't know how I did it. I had this thing it sounded like a synthesizer. And I don't know if I can make it do it or not again. I guess not, and I guess it don't matter because I'm getting nothing out of here. What if we select? Yep, it's off. That's fine. Nothing coming out here. If you guys have been watching along earlier, something was coming out here. So it's very weird. Very weird. I'm waiting for it to scream in my face. It likes to do that. Hello, aux 3. Hello, 1, 2, 3. And this is a TS cable. We can go back to the TRS. I got all the cables. No problems there. I've tried every which way. I'm going to bring the fader down. I don't want it to melt my face off. Okay. Check. Nothing out of the aux 3. Richard Clark says, the good thing about deoxit is you just can't hurt anything with it. Yeah, I suppose so, right? Is that because is it like a water displacement, like WD-40, like water displacement, and that it like some sort of oxidization and it just goes and just knocks all the conductive liquid away, I guess? And it may fix anything. Yeah, it's a weird thing. Joangle Gamer says, no, it should work fine if it worked fine on aux 1 and 2. Well, exactly. And when I sent this to Long and McQuade, aux 1 and 2 were not working at all, and aux 3 was working fine, and I have video evidence of that. So, it's a weird thing. So, I don't know where to put the mic here. But I just know from fixing computers, PCs, laptops, servers, networks. I just know what warranty's all about. What it's all about is you make good. Like you make it good. It's called service, you know. You make good. So to be fair, there's a manager somewhere at Long McQuade, London North, that does not know this is happening. There's a manager and a second command manager, Matt and Dan. Matt's the manager and Dan is the sub-manager, as I understand it. They're home in their beds tonight. They have no idea this is going on. I don't think. I'll call them tomorrow and I'll just run them through it. And we'll see where we get. That'll be day 37. I think I'm due for a replacement at this point. I don't even care if they give me a used one, okay? I know I bought a new one. That's what a nice guy I am. I'm like, I bought a new one, but hey, give me a used one. I'm a nice guy. It's fine. These things happen, but that's not the game we're playing. Instead, we're sending to young Manuel, who is pretending to be a product specialist with a company called Ericsson. Does Tascam TIAC know that there's a company called Ericsson pretending to have product specialists? I don't think so. I'll get a hold of TIAC on that one, and I'll go, hey, TIAC, what's up with your sister company, Ericsson? You know that sister company you guys got that fixes your stuff in Montreal? Because I'm not sure that Tascam TIAC knows this is going on, because a product specialist would know about the auxes, right? And as I said in my other video, if there's no problem with the auxes, then why the hell did those experts at the Long McQuade, and there must be 16 people working that store, how come 16 people decided that it was time to send it to Ericsson if there's no problem? It doesn't make any sense. Joango Gamer says, but a factory reset made 1 and 2 work. LOL. Well, I don't know what made 1 and 2 work, my man. Could be a timing issue with the microcontroller. True. If it doesn't reset the preamp capacitor. Yeah, man. Well, that factory reset I just did, I did it with you on screen, and the auxes were working yesterday. So did they factory reset it? I can't tell at this point. Oh, well, then you need to deaux it, not you need to deaux it, not deaux it. Thank you, Richard. C Dunn says, yeah, thinking about this, the firmware could be running the whole show in this analog board, so it's wired fine, but if the program screws up, then yeah, maybe that's the case. Yeah, I think it's a good move. I'm not going to do it right now because I got to get a USB stick, which I probably have one. Geez, the firmware might even... No, it's not on this because it's memory cards. This is my Zoom firmware for my LiveTrack L20. My Zoom firmware is on this one. I'd have to get a micro SD. I'd have to put... It's not going to hurt. I think it's a good idea, guys. I will refirmware it. I'll tell you, one of these I got home. The memory card didn't work. You may have seen my video 6 months back, me complaining. My memory card wouldn't work. And I firmwared this thing. I believe I firmwared it via USB. I got a USB cable around here that just hangs out for the Tascam Model 24. That's the A end. The B end is currently plugged into my Alesis Strum. I refirmwared the Tascam Model 24, and the card reader physically started working. Go figure. So firmware is definitely a DNA, RNA, analogy for what happens in the brain of these things. Joango Gamer says, okay, just remember for calibration purposes, when you refirmware and factory reset, make sure all the sliders and pots are set to a default position. I never thought of that, and that is a good idea. That would have never, ever crossed my mind. But you're probably right. The microcontroller could be finding the parameter values of each knob on the firmware initialization. It could be. I don't know, but it could be. I would have never thought of that, to tell you the truth. So that's a good tip. And we will bring it back up to, what is it, 1.68? Storage system information version 1.63095. Sometimes these companies have secret firmware. I don't know if you guys know that. I'll just give you an example. Toshiba photocopiers say which is like a Ricoh thing. I don't want to throw some model numbers up. I'll scramble them. But some of the Toshiba photocopiers, there's the firmware and drivers that you and I see online at the Toshiba website that we can download. And then, of course, in the background, there's secret firmware and secret drivers and secret Mac software and secret Linux software that you and I just don't have access to. And I feel like on something, I don't know if it was the Zoom, I feel like it was the Zoom, that I was given at one point secret firmware not available online. What was the difference? What did it do? How did it benefit me? I have no idea. But it was a different number, a much higher number than the one available to the public. C. Dunn says the Roland VS2 2480, which I love, by the way. I've never owned one, but I had a VS 2000, and I've stood before Johnny Cash's 2480, like actual Johnny Cash's 2480. And I swear it glowed like an angel. It was like, oh, it was awesome to stand in front of Johnny Cash's. It's at the Nashville Johnny Cash Museum. C. Dunn says the VS 2480, I have one time, switched my 2 channels, and I checked it, and I was right that it wasn't me on the mics. But yeah, the software loaded something wrong. I was right that it wasn't me on the mics. But yeah, firmware is a funky thing, man. Joangle Gamer says yes, because they don't always read the initial values from the pots and sliders. Not even my overpriced Yamaha montage synth does that. Too expensive, I guess. And when there is a digital control of analog circuitry, then the microcontroller just initializes the I/O ports and knows nothing of the loaded caps. Yeah, and the resistance values of the sliders. And you know what? If this machine did have that kind of smarts, it could be a DAW controller, right? And it's not. So the Model 12 does allow for transport control into a DAW. This doesn't. I say that. You can kind of trick it into it through SMTPE, STMPT. Guys, what's the acronym? SMTPE, time lock control. You can trick the transport controller into working with Reaper, but there's not true transport control or fader control or that goes into Reaper as an actual Mackie HUI DAW controller. They really missed a trick with that. And I argued with a guy who actually worked at Mackie, of all places. He's like, well, it costs too much money. I said, yeah, not for me, pal. I would have paid you another $500 to have my DAW controller right here. So who are you to decide that it costs too much money? If anybody remembers the M Audio Project Mix IO from the year 2005, it was an 8-channel Firewire, 8 ins, I don't know how many outs, and it had motorized fader control, full DAW control. That was only $800. Come on. It wouldn't cost too much money to add parameter. Oh my goodness. That's noisy as hell. I hope you guys can hear that. Oh man. Well, I guess the fader is cranked pretty high, but that's noisy as hell. This thing's a lemon. This thing's a lemon. All right, we got new comments. C. Dunn says, now thinking about this, it's making more sense now because there's a computer and there's an analog board. So yeah, the software. Yeah, there is a block diagram in the manual of what is analog about this and what is software about this. And like I said, Mike from I Love Recording found out that you could just plug this in like this and you could freeze the whole machine. So that just shows you how much control the microcontroller and the digital part of it does have to freeze the whole machine up from that. Then that, you know, the analog function doesn't even work. So it is at its core a digital thing with some analog mixed in hybrid, right? So I don't even know what we should do at this point. I can complain about this all night. I'm going to call tomorrow, which will be day 37. Like I said, there are some Long McQuade managers snug as a bug in a rug at their houses. They have no idea this is going on, I don't think. Or they're just like, hey, there's a pain in the ass on YouTube. We've had his board for a few weeks. He just keeps whining and complaining, you know. Joe Ungle says, just try to reset it. Set all the sliders and pots to default values. Also, it might help to let it sleep overnight so the analog parts let caps get fully drained. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I will zero it all out. I will firmware it over top of itself, and I can pull the plug and let the caps drain. I know what you mean about that. I mean, I'm technical enough. I've done enough tech stuff to know that caps are like the blood, and it is, that's why they're always like, well, unplug it for 10 seconds. And people that aren't technical, like, what's 10 seconds do? It's like, just do it, please. Like, it makes a difference. Those caps are like freaking water towers, of blood for the machine. Just drain it out, would you? So tomorrow I will call the Long and McQuade managers and find out what we can do about getting some warranty action properly this time. I don't want to send it away again. I'm going to ask them if I can send it directly. Well, I don't want to send it to Ericsson, though. I'm sorry, I'm a service tech for a living, bad habits, but you get it. Yeah, oh no, I get it for sure, man. No, you're right. No, you've given me stuff that I haven't thought about, though. I'm a tech, you're a tech, but you just told me a bunch of stuff I wouldn't have even considered, okay? Like, I wouldn't have considered zeroing the pots out. Wouldn't have even thought of that. So, no, I appreciate it. And I probably wouldn't have thought of draining the caps overnight either. Just wouldn't have thought of it. So, and who knows how long since the caps have actually drained, considering this was in Montreal seemingly 2 days ago, and then at Long and McQuade 1 day ago, and then at my house last night. So the caps may not have drained in 24 hours. So I get it, man. Hey, Joe Ongle, you're in Sweden, is it? Like, what time is it over there? It must be, geez, it must be the morning time, I would guess. I could be a wrong guess. But, so I'm back to my aggregate device for recording. I got a ton of recording to do, man. I got people want drum tracks. I got 2 bands I'm working with. I've got my own album. Yeah, it's 5:23 in the morning. I've turned day into night. Oof. What a terrible way to spend your morning. Listen to me whine about my frickin' Tascam Model 24 from Long and McQuade. Crazy. Well, I think I'm going to sign off here. I appreciate all you guys. Richard and C. Dunn, Joe Ongle. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody else. And I'm sorry if the channel is turning into a Long and McQuade Tascam Model 24 you-know-what fest, but this is where we're at right now, and this is going to be kind of top of mind until we get fixed up. Could be bad caps as well, since, yeah, see, Don, it more likely op amps or caps. The problem, too, with the caps on this thing is they are a little itty-bitty, man. They are like surface mount, the tiny little, like try soldering that, I don't even know if I can get the camera to focus on that pencil lead, but they're tiny, man. All right, C. Dunn, have a good, I guess it's Saturday morning for you in Sweden. Hope you have a good one. Thank you, C. Dunn. Thank you, everybody. And I'll just keep complaining until it's fixed. What else can I do? All right, thanks, everybody.